YMCA. And Mike, it looks like you have your Santa Claus hat on today.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
You're ready for the season.
You done any shopping?
Personally, no.
I have.
But all the shopping is done. I just have one gift left to buy. I only have to buy for one. So,
really?
Yeah.
Cheap.
My wife always buys. You know.
Mine does too.
And so I have to go find something that will appease her, which is a task in its own.
I kind of dread it, really.
Well, in a way, I do too.
It's a hard work out there shopping. You don't know what to buy. I hate to buy for somebody that got everything, you know.
Gift card.
Yeah. Only problem is lose those.
Well, then that would be on her, unless you lose it before you give it to her.
That's my case, you know.
We're going to talk to LaVergne Mayor Ronnie Erwin and City Engineer Kyle Brown here coming up in just a second. Let me give you the forecast today. Partly cloudy, mid-30s for the overnight low, 35 or so. Kind of cool tomorrow, partly cloudy, 52. Some rain tomorrow night, 35. Rain on Saturday as temperatures are in the 40s and kind of fall from there. And then that dreaded word snow in the forecast. And right now, a couple of days ago it was a 20% chance. Yesterday it was about a 40% chance. Now it's about a 70% chance of snow Saturday night. You ready?
I'd like to see it.
You've got that big four-wheel drive.
You know everybody else wants snow. Everybody listening, they want some snow. You know what? They do.
As long as it's not on a school day. Because I don't want my kids at home.
Really?
It's 53 now and partly cloudy skies. And strap on those headphones there, Mayor and Mr. Brown, and we will jump into some conversation here. We've got a great gift basket here as well, and tell us who it's from and all that kind of stuff
This is from Spoody's Hair Company and Rugged Cross Christian Gifts, and this is a gift basket. I guess it's about a $30 value that we'll fix and give out. But this is, if you're like me, don't know what to buy. These gift baskets for guys out there, if you don't know what to get, these things are great gifts for mother-in-law or your wife or something like that. They're located on Jefferson Pike, but they're all nice to donate this. Like I said, it's about a $30 value. You've got a trivia question, don't you?
Well, Felicia's not going to be getting this, although I know probably what she's getting for Christmas looks something like that. We do have a question for you, and the question is. If you call us at 893-1450, we're going to put you directly on the air here. 893-1450. If you know how many mayors that they have had in LaVergne. How many mayors have served in LaVergne? Just the number. I don't need names. Of course, we know Ronnie Erwin's with us now. So 893-1450 is the phone number. Let's go to the phones. Do you have an answer for us? No, not two, but that is a good guess. 893-1450, not two. No?
That's not a good guess.
Well, she did try. She did try. It's not as many as you might think.
No.
Smyrna established, Ronnie, how long ago? It's been a while, I guess, hasn't it?
LaVergne, 1972.
72. All right. 893-1450. You can give us a shout. We can also take some phone calls here for the Mayor as well. Ronnie, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's good to have you here. Do you have a guest here while we got you on the phone here, caller?
Yes, sir. I have Kyle Brown, engineer at the city.
Wonderful. And he's going to be with us here, and we're going to talk about all things going on there. What about you, caller? Do you have an answer to our trivia question? I'm talking to you, ma'am. No, not three. That is
Not even close.
Not even close again. What is Kyle, city engineer? Well, let's go to. Let's just take these phone calls here first. We're charting new territory. Caller, do you have an answer? Yeah. What is that? Oh, you went back to the history books, or did you know that from the top of your head? A wild guess. Well, you guessed it right. That was a good wild guess. Who is this? Mike? All right. Well, we're gonna take this up to the radio station. You can pick it up late tomorrow afternoon or so, or come sometime next week. All right. Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you for calling. All right, I appreciate Mike calling in this afternoon. We're going to take some phone calls here for the mayor and for city engineer Kyle Brown as well. If you have any questions, comments, we'll be glad to talk to you and take those on the air. First of all, Ronnie's an old has-been. He's been here and done that. Kyle, it's good to have you here too.
Appreciate it.
Mayor, how long have you been serving in this capacity?
Let's say, been elected in 2002 as alderman and became vice mayor in 2004 and was elected mayor in 2006. On a 4-year term, I got 1 year down and 3 to go.
1 year down, that first year down, found you with a few health problems and all, but looks like you bounced back well from those.
I had to think, yeah, it's been a long year. Everything's looking good. Feel great.
You came on at a time when, I guess, Ronnie, the LaVergne has kind of exploded. I mean, the whole county has exploded, but you saw an explosion of your own there in Rutherford, or in North Rutherford County there in LaVergne with the number of homes that were built. I mean, it just all happened so fast.
It did. Having one of the largest subdivisions in Lake Forest. So it's good to have a great engineer as we got. It makes my job a lot easier. But I do want to mention our Taco Bell has already opened. Our first full restaurant, Wheel Stands, is open. It's doing great. Both of those are doing great. We got the Fat Mo's in and Domino's Pizza. So we're getting some retail in. And some more is coming. We got a major grocery store looking at the old Bilo. So hopefully have gas pumps and the whole 9 yards. Hopefully have that started by the first year. A lot of good things happening in the city of LaVergne.
In terms of the growth, you've seen a number of people move in, homes, and how is it now that we have seen at least a slowdown in the building? There are homes out there to be bought, and I don't. There's not a slowdown in that, but the building has slowed because the demand for those new homes has kind of gone down. So how has that affected LaVergne?
Well, it has affected us. Probably we're probably down from this time last year. Probably close to 10% as far as the permits being issued. It'll pick up after the winter months. Hopefully get back to probably 5% increase. So we're not too concerned right now. It'll pick back up. You got the big election coming up, so after that, everybody has to be ready to buy homes. Everybody gets a little weary election time, presidential election.
Yeah.
So after that, everything will be fine. Everybody will buy a new home and look forward.
You started, you said 2002 as alderman. Was that your first public service as LaVergne alderman?
Yes, sir. First time I ever ran for anything. I won. I was surprised. As Mike can tell you, it takes you about 2 years to get your feet really down, to know what you're doing, where you can really be helpful to the community. It takes a good 2 years. You've got to keep your ears open and your mouth shut a lot of times. After a couple of years, you should be in good shape to help the community.
In terms of having that drive, since the two of you are here, I'll let either one of you answer this. What in the world drives a person to be a public servant like that with all the headaches? I mean, it's kind of a. I want to hear his response too, so I'll get it from both of you.
Well, you want to make changes to the better. You got your ideals, and everybody has ideals. Reality is what you can do once you get in. You're limited what you can do. You got to work as a team. Everybody's goals are different. You got to make sure you get, in the same neighborhood of what your goals are, and work as a team. The city works with the county and the state, and there's 5 of us in the city. LaVergne, the mayor and vice mayor, 3 aldermen. We got a great team right now. Working close together, and getting more experience, is just priceless.
Just a little over a handful of folks working there as city mayor and alderman, where you have to deal with 20 others and the county mayor, and it's a different thing, but still public service. There has to be something special inside someone who wants to do that.
Well, I think it's conviction. I think a lot of times, I was born and raised right here in Smyrna and always loved this community and plan on retiring here. You know, I've got brothers and sisters who's moved away, and I never seen a reason to ever want to move. You know, I've always liked it here. We've got so many opportunities here in Rutherford County. There's jobs, there's MTSU, Montgomery College, I mean, this YMCA. And I, you know, me and my wife's talked about this some, and sometimes I don't like the politics sometimes, you know, but I also look at, like, if I'm not in there, who else is going to be in there? And I think everybody has their own more conviction on other different things. Mine, for example, is, you know, today at Rotary we had Judge Don Scott, Davenport, up there speaking, and she was talking about the juvenile crime and the overwhelming, you know, just what they're dealing with in the court system in our country, basically. We've just gotten so far away from basics and morality, and I've said this, and I'm the, you know, it's ironic that I'm even preaching this, you know what I mean? Because you know, I'm not somebody who wants to, I'm not trying to call myself a saint. I've made a lot of mistakes, but as our society decays morally, look at what it impacts the taxpayers. Look at how it impacts our courts, our fire, our police. Look at the crime that's been happening in Murfreesboro and LaVergne and Smyrna. So you know, that's probably my conviction, is because, you know, I see how we're face the challenges, and if we don't try to start turning the country around, I don't know what we're leaving the next generation, and that's what worries me. And cost efficiencies is a big thing with me, and you know, I think we're leaving our children's children nothing but a bunch of debt. This isn't getting on the soapbox, but you know, I think it's Proverbs talks about a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That inheritance doesn't have to be money. It can be a better community, it can be wisdom, and I think we need more leaders to speak up on things. And I'm not always going to be right. I make mistakes, just like the next guy, but I try to pray for wisdom and you know, see what I have made mistakes on, you know. But if anybody's ever interested in running for office and they ever want to talk to me, my phone's always there. I'm willing to share you know, my thoughts and so forth with them to try to help young people kind of get in office or at least be involved in their community.
893-1450 if you have questions, comments for LaVergne Mayor Ronnie Erwin. And Kyle Brown is here, the city engineer. We want to bring him into the conversation here as well. And Kyle, with the number of people that keep coming in and the explosion in growth, if you don't plan well for that, then you're going to have buildings everywhere, homes everywhere, and no way to get around it very easily. So do you think LaVergne came into it at the right time, or are you trying to play catch up? How are things in terms of the engineering around the city?
I feel like a little bit we're trying to play catch up just a little bit, but I also believe that we have a good staff now on hand. We just hired a new city planner back in the summer, and he's doing a really good job at trying to get things that were behind maybe caught back up. And I came on, and I've been here since 2005. I got hired as a project engineer about October 2005. I got moved over to the city engineer position about July of this year, and trying to get some of those things caught up. But I believe now we usually have a lot of things on the agenda for the planning commission and things like that. But I believe we review those all and make sure that we're planning things out appropriately and trying to get everything caught back up and back in the right direction.
You must have started all this City of LaVergne stuff when you were just a tot. You don't look like you're as old as Mike. But
oh, thanks a lot. I don't know what you were going to say.
You know, you can tout the state's largest subdivision with Lake Forest, or at least one of them now. I don't know if they're any bigger or not. I haven't heard of any, but with that, I mean, you've got growth coming out of your ears. You've got schools that had to be built. You've got middle schools all over the place. When we were talking, you know, less than 10 years ago, you didn't even have a middle school for the high school. And so all of this seems like it's like, wow, how do we handle all of this? How do you think LaVergne has handled it, and what are some things in the future that you're looking to change?
I think LaVergne's handled it for the most part in a good way. There has been a few items that hasn't probably turned out the way it could have turned out. But like you mentioned, the school systems, they've probably from now on, maybe we can do a little better job of when we have maybe some subdivisions coming in and more people coming in certain areas, maybe talking more with the school board or something to get a better location to make sure that we're not really playing catch up and putting the school system in a spot that's just already been overcrowded, and just as soon as they put people in the schools, it being a full school at that time, and maybe do a better job of talking with the county board of education or something, and maybe spreading those out more appropriately and be more effective, and just things like that. I think we could do a better job on in the future.
In terms of, you know, when you say the name Lake Forest subdivision, sometimes the press hasn't necessarily been so kind, but there have been some things happen there, and Mayor, if you want to speak to this, that'd be fine too. But you know, there has been a crime problem in some areas, and Lake Forest has been one of those. And I know you've got Chief Boyd, who has really tried to step things up there. Where are you in that process? Because it's still a battle that no one has won yet, I guess.
Right. Well, you're right. Lake Forest is almost like a small town itself. We've got a fire station out there now. It's been there for about 2 years. We're going to put a police substation out there on the other side, just for more protection, and treat it more like a little town than just a large subdivision. We opened in Parthenon 3, Phase 3, which is Parthenon Boulevard. It's running from Murfreesboro Road to Stones River, where a roundabout is. I know the commissioner's seen it. It's good. Yeah, I think it's going to help the traffic, and it'll help as far as getting emergency vehicles out there. Everything we can do, I'm trying to treat it more like a little town. You know, have their own police station, substation out there. We have a fire station out there. We have the park. We're going to open the park. It's Vice Mayor Jerry Ginn is working on it very hard, and we're going to have a park for the children out there. Everything is, you know, we're getting there. Of course, we don't have as much crime as any other city our size with the growth we have, but you know, you're going to get the paper too. But we're making, you know, progress. Make sure it's safe, and have plenty of officers out there. Plus, have plenty of officers in my other areas of the city. You know, in case we get the other side of town also. So we're making progress.
Are there areas where, I don't know that I would ever talk to any mayor that says, I don't need more officers and more fire personnel. I mean, everybody needs more, but are you in a situation that you would consider maybe critical to get some additional personnel, or right on the borderline, or how would you characterize that?
I would like to add, if I could add probably 4 more police officers that I don't have right now in the budget. I would definitely love to have that, and probably 2 or 3 more detectives. How critical, I'm not to the point yet where I need to hit the panic button, but you know, with the new retail I got coming in and major grocery store coming in, it's really going to help my budget next year, you know, coming up. So hopefully, you know, safety first and foremost. Hopefully use some of that new tax dollars I'm going to be having to put on some more patrol and help make everything as safe as possible that I can.
In terms of, you mentioned all this growth, and I'm not sure that we have some different callers to the station at times that don't necessarily think that growth is the best thing. Everybody has their own opinions on that. But that's what generates the dollars to make all these other things happen. I mean, how else do you raise money as a city?
Right. Well, you know, when people sell their land, the builders are going to build. We have no control over that. What we do have control on how they do it. You know, that's what they do by the ordinance, by the guidelines. Now, our part is to go out and get the retail and the commercial that we can. You know, when you build houses, now I got to build a store, and I got to build a substation, and I got to build a fire station. So everything, you know, like Kyle Brown said, you know, we're a little behind, and we're trying to get caught up. He made a good point about far as, you know, when we build to get with the county commissioners and let them know, hey, you know, we're going to have another 1,500 kids, 2,000. So we work together and find out where these schools are that you know, now we're going to facing the you know, they're facing the big decision of rezoning these kids, you know, and that's going to be a nightmare. So if we can work better on that, you know, just working closer with the county and let them know what we're doing for subdivisions and how many people we're adding, so we, you know, they can help guide us on the you know, direction of the schools, and that's, you know, the children are first and foremost, their education. And, you know, that's something we need to step up and do a little better job.
Retail, the city of Smyrna has definitely exploded, especially very close to your city limits too. So how does that hamper the retail? I mean, are you all competing for some of the same retail at times?
Well, it don't look like we're competing at all. Mayor Spivey and Mark O'Neill, the city manager, they do an outstanding job. On our side, we have our board's working hard. Like I said, Vice Mayor Jerry Gann, he's out there knocking on the door, bringing in much retail you can. Yes, Smyrna got a jump on this. They've done a great job with Sam Ridley. They really did, and that's just the sky's the limit. I mean, you know, build it and they'll come, and they did. You know, I'm hoping not to have the same effect on Walden Road. We're going to start hoping next year.
Yeah, next year.
But it will make a difference. It'll help our Murfreesboro Road probably more than Walden Road. Probably can't bring a whole lot of retail. It's just not enough room, too much built out. But it will help, you know, getting into Murfreesboro a lot better. But, we won't never have the retail at Smyrna, but we, you know, our industrial is just outstanding. North Star comes in, broke ground last week on the John Deere. People, North Star, they was in broke ground last week in our industrial area. So industrial for us is pretty strong.
Ronnie, Erwin, the mayor of LaVergne with us, as well as city engineer Kyle Brown, county commissioner Mike Sparks, as we're broadcasting live from the North Rutherford YMCA. Stay with us. We'll continue after the break here. Bottom of the hour news from TRN. It's 52 degrees in Murfreesboro. Your forecast coming up. Mike Sparks, and we are talking LaVergne today. We focusing on North Rutherford County every other Thursday here on Rutherford Issues, and we are here at the North Rutherford YMCA, and we appreciate them hosting us as well. They've done this for several months now, since the summer, and they do a great job. Another one of these areas, you know, where the community can kind of come together, and I know the Y considers themselves, even though I guess, Ronnie, they're in the city limits here of Smyrna, it was strategically placed so it would be close to LaVergne. I mean, the LaVergne city limits is just that way, just a little piece, isn't it?
Yeah, you can throw a baseball.
Yeah.
Mike probably could.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot.
I think Kyle could.
Golf ball.
Yeah.
Have to have a little help. Kyle, let's go back over to you. And if someone has a question or comment, 893-1450 is our phone number this afternoon. 893-1450. Some of the things that we were talking about in terms of growth and how you've handled that, it wasn't that long ago when subdivisions were just popping up everywhere, and it just kind of seemed like, you know, the approval process, and I mean there was building all the, you know, everywhere all the time without many rules and regulations against that. You've kind of changed some of that here recently, or over the years, I guess.
Yes, it's probably been something that's been over the years. It's as people come in and started building, planning commission for years have figured out over the years that things could be done differently. Things probably should be asked more of, and don't just think that these people are coming in and building and bringing people in, bringing these homes, bringing in a whole bunch more people, population to your cities and stuff. You don't just want them to come in and you don't want to be scared to run them off or anything like that. You need to ask if they need to improve the roads, they need to improve the roads, they need to add sidewalks or utilities or some of the things that the city needs. They need to install them then. It don't need to be something that the development comes in and then asks the city to pay for later. And that's kind of how I think the planning commissions have changed over the years. Is now they're trying to make new regulations and new things to make sure that people take care of those in the front end.
Not sure how you could afford to do it any other way. I mean, now with the way growth has taken off and the cost of everything, you know, I'm not sure how you could afford not to do it that way. Let's go to the phones. Welcome into Rutherford Issues this afternoon. Do you have a comment there, caller? No, they don't. They decided they wanted to talk to someone else. I mean, great points. I mean, how can you continue with the growth and then expect the city to all of a sudden, well, let's put in sidewalks and put up 3 traffic lights and maintain all of this? The money's just not going to be there because you've got bukus of subdivisions out there. Planning commissions, Kyle mentioned they've changed, and Ronnie, you kind of got in on the ground floor of maybe one of those tidal wave change times, if you will, when you got involved in politics and in the planning process. Give us an idea of what it was like then and now. I mean, what are some of the changes that planning commissions are looking at?
I think one of the biggest, we are adding sidewalks in all our subdivisions, at least on one side, or a lieu of, which means, you know, putting the money in for the sidewalks in the future. Getting the builders to pay for red lights and utilities, as Kyle said, but you know, people don't realize, Mike knows, the red light costs you about $85,000–$90,000. You know, that's a big hunk of change there that can go in other places for the city. So making the developers just be more, you know, responsible for the growth. We have some that have donated the land for schools, libraries, so we're getting that. We just got to keep asking to make sure, you know, that's all we do is keep asking to make sure we get that, so make it easier for them. You know, I don't want to punish the people that's been living in LaVergne, you know, their whole life. They shouldn't have to pay for the growth. It's not fair for them. They didn't ask for it. So I don't put, and that's why we try very hard and we work very hard on not raising property taxes. And I'm not saying one day, you know, if mercy come over, we might have to. But right now, we try to stay, you know, just don't put the burden on our citizens that's been there a long time.
But let me ask you something, Ronnie. Not trying to put you on the spot, but don't you feel that the LaVergne tax rate is too low?
Well, you know, it's something we've always had. It's been a trademark of LaVergne. You know, it's almost, I look at it like this. I can convince part of LaVergne, you know, some people want parks, some people want schools, some people want the library, but to convince everybody to, you know, to raise property taxes, and get everybody to agree on it, it's not going to happen. That's one of the strong points we have when people get is property taxes. It's so low. Plus, it puts you in Rutherford County. Once you get in Rutherford County, you know, the sky's the limit. And, you know, Rutherford's outstanding, Smyrna's outstanding, the schools are great, in my opinion. I think Rutherford's hands down, you know, it's one of the best. So, you know, you're in the county, you're in one of the best counties I know of. And, you know,
but you know, when you look at my opinion, I mean, and I'm extremely conservative. I don't want to raise. I would never want to have a lower tax increase or anything. But I think when you're hitting your infrastructure being hit so hard, police especially, Lake Forest, you know. And I'm glad to hear you talk about the whole developers accountable. You know, we talked about some of that out there, having them put in sidewalks, parks, and so forth. And some of that wasn't done in Lake Forest years ago. You know, I've been kind of outspoken about Lake Forest and not just throwing stones. I mean, LaVergne's kind of close to me because my father lived in LaVergne for 30 years. My pastor lives in LaVergne. A lot of my church members, some of them live in Lake Forest, so I hear it from them. But to me, the low tax rate sounds great, but I think you suffer the quality of services from police and fire and codes officials and things like that. And I'll give you a good example, and this isn't being critical, but when my father passed away, I was having to sell his home. And you know, the home behind it was so dilapidated, and the guy had so much stuff back there and junk that I couldn't market the home because of what he had. And so there was really lack of any enforcement on the codes. So I think that's one case in point to where a low tax rate sounds good, politically it sounds good, but is it really good for the future? Is it really good for the citizenry as a whole? I mean, even if it's just $50 a year increase. I think most people would go for that. If, hey, you're going to get some police, you're going to get a better fire department, you're going to get some improvement in the park system. I think most people see the value in that.
Well, to a point, I agree with you. You know, it's funny though, because you know yourself, and anybody that's elected knows that a lot of people think none of the employees does enough. You know, most people think, well, you got too many police officers. If they see 2 police cars at a restaurant, they automatically think, well, you got too many. They don't work. But you know, it's hard. What I try to do is don't spend what I don't have. You know, would I like to move roads here and there? Yes. And we are getting roads, but I'm trying to do it different. I don't want to be the one that goes in the road projects. I believe in roll up the sleeves and go out there and get the retail, you know, get the commercial. Do it that way. You know, to me, it's almost a cop-out for us that. Doggone it. If I can, you know, I budget the city budget like I do my check. You know, I said it once before, you know, I like to have a Cadillac, but I drive a Chevy. You know, that's my budget. So, you know, I wouldn't let the city get to a point where we're so low for emergency stuff, you know, than I would if it took raise the property tax, I'd be a part of it. But we're not to that point. And I got a great team, and Alderman Mosley, and Alderman Baldwin, and Alderman Green, of course, Vice President Jerry Gann, are working hard to bring in retail. And we are catching like cows. We're a little behind, but we're getting there. We're getting caught up. The retail's coming finally. You know.
Well, let me ask you this, you know, with those points, where's Lake Forest going to be in 5 years?
Well,
I mean, if we don't get it on the front end and be proactive, you don't see crime and more of the gang influence being hit hard, and then everybody suffers. There was a shooting there, I think, a few days ago. You know,
right.
I mean, the little girl that my son dates lives over there, and I hear some stories from her. Some of my church members. So, you know, I don't like to raise taxes either, but I just say if you don't have the infrastructure there, you don't have the quality of services. You know, I just think everybody suffers. You know, with it.
Well, in Lake Forest, we got it covered pretty good. Now, the last shooting we had, you know, believe it or not, we actually had a police car that was 1 street over. I mean, you can have a police car in every street and not go stop somebody driving by shooting. That's just not going to happen. You know, so we've got it controlled. Like the substation is going to help.
Where's that going to be?
That's located right off the Stones River. I mean, that. I got the fire station on the other side.
Are y'all having that? Y'all having a developer donate that land?
Yeah. Old South.
Good.
Well, we got the land on South. That's what we put the park.
I mean, is that like in lieu of impact fees or?
No, what it is.
They just donate straight out.
First, the only thing they donated, we gave us a discount on the station itself. We already had the land. We had the land for our park.
Yeah.
We're going to put it in front of our park, which I think that's just another safety thing for the children to get out there. Once the park gets built, the substation gets built, we'll have it in, you know, probably 3 shifts if we need to. Plus, the way we've done that, we have the fire station on the other side. We also have control of the state.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot safer than you see here. You know, like I said, last shooting, we didn't have a police car, just a street over.
Well, I drove through there earlier this week, and it was really. I mean, I was expecting to see more foreclosures. I didn't see that many foreclosure signs. I seen a couple of vacant. But I mean, you're talking a lot of density, and I didn't see it. And I did see a few for sale signs, probably a little bit more than most subdivisions.
I will do it.
But it really wasn't that bad. But to me, like what Kyle had mentioned about the playing catch-up, which you are playing catch-up. I mean, that subdivision, one thing that's, and I know it's not on your watch, you know, they didn't plan for schools. You know, I think there's 7 school buses that run that route, picking up those kids. When I was a kid, we walked to school. You know, and that, I mean, look at what it costs to have to pay a school bus driver, fuel and everything else to run and pick up these kids. But that subdivision, if that would have just been planned, a lot of those kids could walk there.
And the park LaVergne Boulevard, just coming from Mercer Road to Stone. So that's something now we were getting done. There's some entrance exit in and out of the Lake Forest.
That looks good. That roundabout looks real good.
And that'll take, we got 4 schools on the lower end of Stone Creek Road. So that road alone, that one road is going to make so much difference for Lake Forest to get it in and out. As far as the police goes, if we have to, Kyle can carry a shotgun.
Well, I've heard of a mayor actually doing that before.
Not this one.
Not this one. We have Ronnie Erwin with us, the mayor of LaVergne, and city engineer Kyle Brown. Murfreesboro has been dealing with this, and I'm not sure whether it's a new problem or not, but there has been graffiti and gang-related activity, whatever that may be. And while it is going on, I don't know how to, I don't know how to judge for myself how much of it is there or not. It's just characterized as that, But how is LaVergne tackling that situation? Because you get a lot of growth in from the Nashville area, bigger city there too, so it's kind of a trickle down. So if it's there in LaVergne, then Smyrna and Murfreesboro need to expect it, and that's kind of what's happening, I think. Maybe your perspective from that.
Well, you're right. There's so much we can do. When we have growth like that. You add the patrolmen and you can add the detectives and add everything we need to. A lot of this comes down to the parents. I've got young ones. I know where they at all times. I guarantee you they're not on the street at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I know it's tough with single parents. And they got to work to make ends meet. I think if we can be better neighbors to each other, we do a lot of neighborhood watches now, as many as we can. If we can just learn to be a little bit better neighbors, and help each other out as much as you can, and realize that single parents have got to work, and they're not bad people, they're just running out of time. And they can't always keep up with a young teenager who's going to get out and explore.
I attended that gang meeting that y'all had last year, and one thing that kind of hit home for me is I was sitting behind us. There was a lot of black females. I'm assuming were single, raising kids, and I heard a lady say talking about Lake Forest, and I tell you, it kind of got me a little choked up, and it almost does now. She had made a comment. She said, "I didn't realize the subdivision had these problems. She said, I bought this home, and how am I going to sell this home? And I'm bringing these kids, and it's kind of heartbreaking. That people are investing like this, and they are trying to raise, kids, and without a father figure in the home. And Brian knows, we talked about that, and it is. As a society, we all lose. Just earlier at that point, and talked about the amount of kids, the amount of single females, and having kids out of wedlock, and how we pay for that. Not just having 1 or 2 kids, but I'm talking having 3 to 5 kids from different men, and we end up as a society, we have to pay the burden of that. And then
that's just like having to pay the burden of those who are single families, and where the structure is not there necessarily for the young kids. Eventually that becomes a societal problem, and how do we tackle that? It's a hard thing.
It is, but and that's a good plug for the YMCA.
There you go.
My kids come here. Yeah, there's programs out there. It's the people want it. This is a great program. The Boys and Girls Club is a great program. There are things out there. But it's getting back to knowing your neighbors a little bit. Open up to your neighbors a little bit. Since we've done these neighborhood watches, now we've got neighbors calling each other, letting them know, hey, I'm going to be running late, or watch my garage door, and this, that, and the other. We kind of gotten back to run in your house and stay in your house. You don't know your neighbors. We got to get away from that. You got to know your neighbors. Speaking of Rotary, we have a special guest next Tuesday at LaVergne, which is our U.S. Congressman, Bart Gordon.
Tuesday at
12 o'clock. If you can make it.
Yeah.
12 o'clock Tuesday. That sounds good. Got all kinds of other great things going on, and you know, wanted to talk with just a little bit of time that we've got left here about your rescue squad and how those things are working. And you've got a lot of people that just donate their time to go out, you know, and offer food boxes and things to families. I mean, that's something that I think we could all learn from.
Oh yeah, the rescue squad, Dana Blair and that bunch, they have done an outstanding job throughout the years. Great people, great for the community. And also we have Box 100, Rick O'Neill's people, and they've done a lot for out of that. So,
y'all got y'all do have a great rescue squad.
yeah, we do.
I mean, it's outstanding.
Blair's doing outstanding.
Also, got a note here about the LaVergne Police Athletic League looking for 2 or 3 sponsors for their golf tournament in 2008. The 9th year for this tournament. It will be on April the 18th at the Smyrna Municipal Golf Course. And the Police Athletic League was formed back in 2000, a 501c3 organization. So those donations are tax deductible. And so for those who are looking for a late season tax write-off, this is a good time maybe to get that donation in.
Yeah, Gary House gives up that list, and I'm free to golf that day.
Now, would you be
Kyle Brady.
would you be the scratch player, or are you a pretty good golfer?
I'm not even a scratch player. Kyle's pretty good.
I'm pretty much a scratch player.
All right. Well, we've got just maybe a couple of more minutes here. You got another question?
Yeah,
here,
real quick, and Ronnie, I'm trying to get you on this lake for us much, but you know, I drove through there the other day, and one thing that I don't see is I don't see a lot of amenities on these high densities off there, and I was glad to hear you talk about holding developers accountable, having them put in sidewalks, help pay for some of the infrastructure, the red light and so forth. But you know, one thing, and I face this on the Smyrna planning committee, is I look at it like this: if you're giving developers a little bit more density, they should give up something else. They should put in the amenities. They should add more green space and so forth. You know, I don't see any, you talk about parks, I don't see any place a kid can throw a football, play basketball, or anything like that, and it's right there. All you have is asphalt.
Right.
And what I'm talking about is Sand Hill Road, some of those high-density developments that's coming in.
You're right, and that's something that missed out kind of in the beginning. We have 5 acres put back right in the middle of the forest with parks going.
Yeah.
You're right. That's at the beginning. All these lots now have been zoned for 4 or 5 years. They pretty much got everything they need. They can go build and they're ready. There's not much we can do.
You can still ask some of these guys.
Oh, and we do. As far as our new schools, we've had help, donate land and give us, right of ways and this and that. So, we don't get as much as we needed, and that's something you can't go back and get. Once you let them build and they build, they shut that door, that's it. They get the CO. Once they get that CO, what you got is what you got. We're getting what we can now. It's just hard to go back and say, hey, you built 200 houses last year, can I have a road? So if you can't do it up front. And we're getting there. Wish Lake Forest could maybe be done a little different. Monday quarterback in there, and the board's done a great job in the past. And we make mistakes. We just try not to make them.
Well, just looking ahead, Ronnie, I want to invite you and Kyle anytime. We're here every other Thursday when there are things going on in LaVergne we need to know about. Let us know, and would love to do this every 3 or 4 months or so, if not sooner than that, just to see what's going on there in North Rutherford County and how we might be able to help spread the word about the good things that are going on there too.
Brian, y'all have been a good host to me, so anytime you need, I'm glad to be here at 1450 outstanding talk show. I just want to plug the engineer one more time because I can't give him a raise, so I want to make sure I do that.
Give him some props.
But if you could give him a T-shirt or something, I'd appreciate it.
We might be able to rustle up something for him. Kyle, it was good to have you here, and same thing for you. Come on down anytime. We're here every other Thursday, all right?
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, and that is the voice of Kyle Brown and make that LaVergne Mayor Ronnie Erwin joining us here. County Commissioner Mike Sparks as we wind up here from the North Rutherford Y. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks, but that'll be right after Christmas and ho-ho-ho time, I guess. Well, Merry Christmas to you and your wife, and I hope she gets the gift card of her dreams.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Mike, we'll see you down the road, buddy, all right?
Thank you.
Mike Sparks joining us here from the North Rutherford Y, and that's going to do it here. And we're going to send it back to the studio thanks to Scott Walker at the station. Coming up next, Tim Tackett.